All right. We are live. Teach me grappling. What's up, guys? All right. We've got a solid one guy in here. Now we've got two. What's going on, guys? Who's in the room? Who's here to chat a little bit? We got three. Hopefully it's going to grow pretty quick. We got four. I know it's kind of short notice. I didn't let you guys know before. Let me know if you guys can hear me. We got five. You guys are kind of slow at typing. What's going on? So, I don't know how to pronounce it. Mr. Sorker. Hello. Eric, what's up? Matt. What's going on? Is it Sobu? Am I saying that right? Sobu? Sorker? Cool. All right. Stephen Bird in the house. We got 14 people. All right, Sobu. We got Kenneth. What's up? I just got home a little late. Whiskey Sours in the house. What's up? What's going on, Evan? So I got home a little late from the gym tonight, and I haven't eaten. So I'm going to be eating my my little clam chowder. This was my quick meal. Throw this in the microwave, and let's see. I've got some. I got plenty of fat in here. Plenty of got some protein in here, and we definitely have some carbs. So I get a little bit of everything, a little bit of clam chowder. So, Sobu, you like to be called green? Oh, it means green. I get you. Yeah, you're welcome, Matt. The ingredients. All right, what am I eating tonight? I got light cream, water, potatoes, clam meat, onion, and it's got very, very little of clam stock, which is like water, clam base, basically cooked clams, cornstarch. You got salt, clam broth, sugar, potato flour, onion powder, some codfish powder. Got some salted butter in here, and some more flour and a few other things. So garlic. Anyway, a lot of fish stuff. So it's not all clams. They put some fish stuff in it. So, somebody, Eric, clam chowder on camera with a goatee. That's a mistake. You know what? I never thought about that, but fortunately, I have some napkins right here. I will be utilizing if I need to. So we'll take the first. It's pretty hot, so I'm trying to let it cool off a little bit. Okay, we got first real martial arts question from Alex S. How do you protect against the risk of a knee or a high kick if you're slipping to close the distance? That's a great question. Um, you know, there's always a risk, guys. When you fight, there is a risk of getting hit. If you are a grappler and you want to get in close, you got to close the distance. There is a risk when you go from distance to closing that distance. Now, again, some of the best times to go in and close the distance are when your opponent least expects it and he cannot set his legs or his hands to throw strikes that can damage you and hurt you. So what's really important is you don't just blindly close your eyes and shoot. Although that does work a lot, it works actually quite a bit. It's not a good strategy. So the best thing I recommend is to use your own strikes and your own flinching or feinting that gets your opponent to flinch and to not understand what's exactly happening. And it's those quick moments when a closing of the distance movement needs to happen. So, Evan, thank you. Yeah, you know what? That's incredible. But yeah, the super chat. Uh, I First of all, on the super chat thing, guys, I'm new to this. I know I've watched like Faraz a hobby and he uses it. Others have used it. I'm not used to using it, but you know, thankfully, if you guys know Anton, I'm gonna get back to my. I'm kind of getting scattered, but just real quick on the super chat. Anton Kalista, our wrestling coach that I hired at PG, who I'm also kind of training in jiu-jitsu, he has kind of helped out with that super chat thing. And again, he got it going. I'm not even the one that's done it. He's done a ton of great things for the channel in the last several weeks, and I just want to thank him. So, anyway, back to the subject at hand. You guys got to make sure that a guy's not set. If you have a very good striker, a guy with great footwork, and he's moving his feet well, if you just blindly penetrate and try to rush in, and he can calculate the situation and land the strike, you could be in trouble. It's very important that if you guys go back and watch early UFCs when you had guys that didn't know striking, you would see a lot of guys like from traditional martial arts, taekwondo, hapkido, kung fu, even kickboxing. And the thing is a clinch is something that regularly happens. Like if you guys watch boxing or kickboxing or situations like that, plenty of times they will. Thank you, Matt. Plenty of times they will get in a clinch, and when they get in a clinch, they have a referee that splits them apart. And one thing that I used to tell a lot of people is that, if you think about it, what if just take two like high level boxers, okay? In fact, I'll pick one out for you guys that you guys may disagree with, actually. But let's pick out Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Now, how many times can Conor McGregor close the distance on a Floyd Mayweather? Floyd Mayweather, one of the best in the world. Granted, he was, at the end of his career, but it still holds 50-0 at the time, 49-0. He is very, very high level, right? Now, a lot of people don't believe that Conor is on his level in boxing, which I will agree with. I will easily agree with that. But Conor is still a good striker. And this is actually a perfect example to illustrate what I'm talking about. If Conor needed to get in the clinch without getting knocked out, can he do it? Hell yeah, he could do it. He did it multiple times. Now, because Floyd doesn't understand clinch and understand the positioning, Conor could actually close the distance, get in close up, and actually maneuver behind Floyd and kind of make him look silly, even though they aren't able to strike from the back. Although, he did use some like rabbit punches. He was hitting Floyd from the back of the head or in the back of the head. Those kind of things show that you don't have to be at that guy's level. But keep in mind, if you're fighting Adesanya, you're going to have a hard time. The guy's a very high-level striker. He understands grappling. So, and we're talking about best in the world there. But let's say you are an average, I don't know, purple belt in jiu-jitsu. You've done a little bit of wrestling. Let's just say the equivalent of 1 year of high school wrestling. And you're on the street and you're about to get in a fight. And the other guy kind of knows how to punch and kick a little bit. You don't want to get kneed in the face or kicked in the face or punched, uppercutted. So the thing is what's important to understand is that if this guy doesn't have grappling training, as long as he doesn't have like the 3 years of high school wrestling or he wrestled in college, he's not going to exactly have the skills once he gets in the clinch to avoid the takedown. So what it means is, what are your odds on getting close without getting KO'd or seriously injured or hurt, where you can't cling to him and hold on long enough to get your takedown? So I definitely don't recommend closing your eyes and ducking down and charging. But I'm telling you, I have seen that work a million times. Guys have horrible timing and it still works. If you stare at the UFC fights, and you're talking about high-level fighters that know what they're doing, you're going to see the highest level. You're going to see guys maneuver. They know how to avoid the grappling exchange. They know how to circle out and do these things. These things are a lot harder than people realize. The best in the world do it, and they make it look easy. You guys saw Adesanya and Costa. Costa charged, I believe, twice. Maybe it was a couple more than that, but 2 times he had Adesanya somewhat pressed against the fence for a split second, and then Adesanya circled out. I really don't think that Costa tried that hard. That's why it was so frustrating to watch that fight, because it's as if he tried to outstrike Adesanya, and that's not going to happen, as everybody saw. Clam chowder's not getting cold, Matt. It's burning my hand right now. But we will be testing out the goatee in a little bit. So anyway, back to it. Most people, even if he knows a little bit of striking, you're going to have to get in that clinch 1 time, maybe twice, okay, if he's scrappy. And in order to do that, what you need to do is you have to either make a circular move where you cut an angle so that your opponent adjusts and they turn. So let's say I was facing this way and you move to my right, so I turn. The second that I rotate my feet, if you penetrate at that moment, that's going to be difficult for me. That means I have to be so good that I make a turn and strike and fire the bullet from my knee or my kick or whatever it might be. Now, that's one good idea. Throwing strikes is the best thing. You guys throw a strike, make somebody cover, and that's when you go. It's very hard for most people, to pinpoint accurate attack a grappler who changes levels and fires in. Just like when you guys watch boxing or kickboxing, if you have a fighter that doesn't want to keep distance and he wants to brawl and he wants to get on the inside, you're going to see lots of clinching. In one boxing match, in the first round, you could see 5 to 10 different clinches if the guy wants to. If he doesn't want to and both guys are outside fighters and they're going to play a cat and mouse game from the outside, you may not even see 1 clinch in a round. But if you have the type of fighter that likes to move in and move forward, you're going to see clinching. And I'm not telling you that it's the easiest thing in the world. But what I am saying is, out on the street, this is what people don't understand. They watch the UFC and then they visualize themselves as Adesanya or as Anderson Silva. They really think that they are Conor McGregor or whatever. And they think it's that easy. They don't understand that a guy just comes in like Chael Sonnen, like when he went against Anderson Silva, and I'm picking one of the best in the world, Anderson Silva, and just shoves his head straight into his chest and charges forward. It can be really difficult. So again, I am not saying that it's the easiest thing in the world. I'm not saying that you're not in danger. I'm not saying any of that. But when people ask me all the time, how do you do this? Well, first, you got to know how to take people down. You have to have rhythm and timing. You have to have an understanding of striking. You have to have the in and out, the feeling of in and out and back in, how to feint, how to strike, or noticing what kind of strike they are throwing. They come in with a jab and a low kick, and you simply, once the low kick lands, you grip the low kick and bring your head close to it and come forward and grip to a clinch. It's very difficult. It's very difficult for most people to avoid it. Now, again, if you stare at the best in the world, I'm repeating myself, you stare at the best in the world, it's going to look easy because that's how good these guys are. People don't understand how good Adesanya is. I mean, they say they know, but they don't understand how much he is better than everyone else. And I'm mostly speaking about even just the guys that enter amateur MMA. Like the distance between the levels is so far, it's crazy. It's really, really far when it comes to doing that. That's why the majority of amateur fights can be won simply with a good grappling game and a good takedown game. If you add the takedowns to the good submission game or positional, where you can get to the mount and punch and kick punch and ground and pound. Most fights are won that way at the low levels. It's overwhelmingly dominated that way. The only time you see in amateur fights a lot of standing up knockouts is two guys that just slug it out. If one guy wants to grapple, it's going to be a grappling match at the low levels 90% of the time. Anyway, I'm talking a lot. All right, so let me get back to some of your questions. Who would win in a fist fight, Trump or Biden? That was an awesome debate last night. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys watched it. Very, very entertaining. Very frustrating to hear two guys just, the way they went. But I don't want to get too political, but I'm not a fan of either. But it was interesting. Who would win in a fist fight? I'd say that Biden's a little too old for Trump, but then again, Trump's kind of fat. He may get tired. I don't know. You know what? Trump talks tough, but maybe he doesn't have any skills. Maybe he's gonna windmill. But then again, maybe the windmill will blow Biden over. Who knows? So that was funny. Let's test out the clam chowder. So it's a little getting a little runny now. Nothing in the goatee. All right, Ron's in the house. He's got his white belt right there. Mike Tyson gave Conor kudos for going the distance with Floyd. Yeah. I know there's still a lot of people that think that Floyd carried him, which I don't believe. But I think Floyd was being very smart. Very smart. There's no reason to try to knock Conor out in the first 3 rounds when he's dangerous. I feel like Floyd took over in round 4, round 5. I gave Conor the first 3 rounds. After that, I had Floyd. But Conor did pretty well for not being a boxer. Having striking skills, but, not being a boxer. And he's a bigger guy. He did make him look a little silly with the clinch work and, like I said, going behind him. But it doesn't matter. It was a boxing match. He lost. What are your thoughts on the potential matchup with Conor and Dustin Poirier? Honestly, guys, I'm kind of a Conor fan. I like Conor. I know Conor's beaten Dustin already, but it kind of was somewhat of a fluke for it to end so quick. If you want to call it a fluke. It's still skill. So he caught Dustin. That's the way it goes. But what I mean by that is I do believe Dustin could do a lot better with Conor. But I also believe that Conor's strike, it was kind of to the back of the head. It kind of hit Dustin in a bad spot in the back of the head. Whatever. He finished him. I would probably pick Conor, but it's a great fight. Love to see it. So Eric says, video down for everyone else, or is it just me? I don't know, Eric Fubar. Hopefully the video's not down for you. Brian Ochoa went down for me too. Okay. And then Brian Ochoa exit the video, then come back. Okay. Hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. There's tons of, we've got 63 people in here. So if you guys here real quick, I don't even know how to do the super chat stuff. Let me, so Evan Susmick or SusMC, Evan, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't know how I can help you, but if you have a question, I would love to try to answer it. Looking for Evan, I don't know what I'm doing. Is Evan still in the house? Because Evan didn't really answer a question. He just hooked it up. At least it looks like he did. Ingmar, yeah, what's up, man? Thank you so much. Okay, I'll be looking for Evan. But let me get back a little bit. I'm going to scroll back. Let me try to find find some of these good questions. So, okay. Varun. Wait, before I get to Varun, we've got Marcus. What are some tips for people who are just starting to train BJJ or wrestling, like mistakes or fundamentals? What are some tips? Basic things, keep your elbows in, keep your back at a 45 in the standing position. Try not to hurt yourself. Don't stick your elbows out. Get your elbows popped. Posting on the mat, things like that. You got to train. You got to jump in the pool, man. You got to get in the water and see if you can swim, and try to learn little by little. If you're just starting out, that's what you got to do. You got to have a good attitude. You got to tap a lot if you're in jiu-jitsu. Don't have an ego. If you tap a lot, ask questions. Lots of stretching. Plenty of rolling as long as your body can handle it. So, all right, Varun. You made your girlfriend start training BJJ to get rid of her fears, but she is very soft and timid. How can someone that is so physically fragile be made tough enough to reach the blue belt level? It takes time. Everybody's different. Some people are very, very timid, and they take a lot longer. Some people take years, like 2, 3, 4, 5 years just to reach a blue belt. Others, they got it in them, and they pick it up pretty quick in a matter of months. But, again, I think the best way to do it is to train with people that are your level, and that way you have something that's somewhat competitive. One of the worst things you can do for someone who's soft and timid is throw them in the water with some sharks that scare them. It really just makes you swim for your life, and you don't really want to attack, which is one of the most important things that must be understood. The attack philosophy, which is you need to learn how to go after your opponent and try to win. Much of martial arts is spent on defense, and I am a big believer in defense. But just because coming from a background where I fought before and competed quite a bit, I'm a coach. I wanted to teach people how to win. Defense matters 100%. I'm not trying to say it doesn't, but the best guys are attackers. The best of them are attackers. They have great defense, but they know how to impose their strategy on their opponent and keep the opponent defending. So if you're soft and timid, you're going to find yourself on the receiving end all the time because you're always not attacking and you're always worried. So yes, you need defense. Yes, of course. But to really break the mold, to reach blue belt, you must attack. You cannot just defend and get a blue belt. To me, that's nobody in my gym will ever reach a blue belt if all they can do is defend. In the same way, they can't just only attack either. They have to have defense. But attacking is the thing that lets you or demonstrates that you really have reached that blue belt level. It means that, like I've told you before in other of my lives that I've talked about, when someone comes in the room and they're a white belt or fresh off the street, you need to tap that guy or girl. You need to tap them. They come in, you should be beating them. If you're not, I will start to, unless the size difference and the strength difference is very vast, let's just say for all intents and purposes, they're the same size. You're a blue belt, you should take that white belt and tap him. And it should be relatively simple. You shouldn't be using tons of strength. So going back to what I was saying now from the beginning, you need to go around with somebody your level so you're not in fear at all times. That doesn't get you out of the soft and timidness if you're getting your ass kicked. What helps is it's just like playing a video game. You put it on the easy level, you win, and you win so many times it's almost boring. You go up a level, then you win and you get better and you go up a level again. if you'd use this kind of strategy, and this is something I do with my children when I'm not my kids, but the kids I teach, this is something I do with them to develop them. You know, I let the one, even one of my smallest dogs, in a sense, I find another Chihuahua like him so that he can kind of feel like he's a big dog. And once he does that, I feed his confidence as he wins and does well. I feed his confidence and he grows. Then we find another dog in the room that he can also beat, and we build off of it. Once he's ready, I put him up to a level where he then loses again, but he understands that he can win. He just needs to work harder. So the crappiest or the hardest part of it is when you find someone who is the smallest Chihuahua in the group and there's literally nobody that they can beat. And that can be a little difficult, but you need someone to fight at their level and build that confidence. And it's not a secret. It's time on the mat. It's constant repetition. It's hard work, effort. If it takes lifting weights because you're too weak, that can help you build confidence because you get a little stronger. If it means running or cardio, sometimes that gives you the energy to go that last 30 seconds so you can just defend yourself or maybe get that submission. There's so many things that can kind of play into that. Hope that helps. So what's the difference between grappling and BJJ? Guys, BJJ is a specific style of grappling. I put grappling in a category of there's combat, and I put grappling as a subset of combat or martial arts. Underneath combat or martial arts, you have grappling styles and striking disciplines. So then underneath grappling, you have BJJ, wrestling, sambo, even the others like judo, hapkido, catch wrestling, whatever. But grappling is what I would consider the umbrella that includes all of the grappling styles. And that's one reason why I called my channel Teach Me Grappling, because I didn't want to say that what I did was only jiu-jitsu or it was catch wrestling or it was whatever. So wrestling. So Marcus also mentioned that. Blanket term. Grappling is a blanket term. Very good. So all right, Logan, thank you. All right, so did I ever get from Evan? Did I ever get a question from Evan? Looks like no. Oh man, I'm getting lost. There's so many questions, guys. With this many questions, there's no way I'm going to get to all of you guys. And again, I guess the way it's supposed to work is I'm supposed to try to. Oh, okay. Evan, you're still here. So what's up, Evan? How can I help you? Evan just dropped like $50. So I need to make sure that Evan is taken care of. The man's got a little bit of money, you know? So anyway. And then we got a lot of bad questions I'm scrolling through. I see some of your horrible questions, guys. Anyway. Yeah, Eric gets the dibs. He's got dibs. Eric, what's up, man? What do you want, man? The world's your oyster. All right, Evan, while we're waiting on Evan, let me just, Ron. Oh, okay, we got a guy. We got fight training dropping a little bit. Thank you so much. He says he loves the channel. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Again, if I can help you, let me know. If you have a question, fight training, let me know. Misfit is asking, how do you balance working the night shifts and training? It's hard, man, but I just I'm in the gym all the time. I teach in the morning. I teach in the afternoon. I teach all the way late at night. I'm always spending late nights working out a little extra with my wrestlers. Tonight we had a couple female. Um, they want to be MMA fighters. They work on their kickboxing, and now. I'm their grappling coach, and I'm trying to get them ready for MMA for their debut in MMA. So, hey Evan, thank you so much, brother. So Evan says he's just checking in, hanging out with the best group of people on YouTube. So that's pretty cool, man. So, anyway, how do I balance it? I mean, it's just tough, man. I just do it. I just keep moving along. It's catch up on sleep when you can. Try to spend some time with the girlfriend when I can. You know, so. All right, Fight Training says, I've been teaching for a couple of years. Do you have any advice? Yeah, as far as teaching goes, teaching martial arts, one thing that I learned a long time ago is that when you're teaching, try to be not so monotone. So you don't want to go blah 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 with your talking. You want to make sure that you excite people and you speak with a different tone. You change it up, and that's something I really try to do with my teaching. I learned that from my coach, and then I do my best to try to break down all the things that matter to me in a move when I'm teaching it to someone else. I try to just focus on those things. Pick a few things, make it real simple, 3 to 5 things that are really, really important details. Go over it a few times and repeat it. And, you can always supplement your training if you haven't been doing it that long. You don't have it like right off the top of your head. You can go and look at different resources, use stuff off my channel, any other channel. When you're being a good teacher is not always about puffing up your chest and saying, I'm the big bad dude, I'm the trainer. A lot of guys miss that and they misunderstand it. Try to be humble. I'm humble when I teach sometimes, but I'll definitely talk about sometimes even some of my students that do great things. Knee bar Mike will do knee bars actually better than I do nowadays in live rolling. And I'll compliment him. I'll even have my students teach from time to time because they've got some great things to add. So there's so many good ideas. And I want to show you guys in our membership in the future, you're going to see a lot more of my live teaching. So it's a little bit different than the videos, but it's pretty similar overall. But you'll get to see a little bit more of the way that I teach when I'm in the class if you guys are in the membership. And there's more to come. I would love to show you guys how I teach kids. I love teaching children, and I feel like I'm pretty good at it. So that's another big deal. So Matt Pouch, how can I shut down leg locks as a white belt? Feels like I have. Okay, it feels like half of my taps are to annoying ankle and knee locks. So you want to shut down leg locks as a white belt. So you're a white belt, people are getting you in leg locks. I'd like to ask you, I'll go over both briefly, but where are they getting the leg locks? Are you on the bottom, like you have them in your guard, and a guy splits your guard open? One thing I always try to teach, if you are in that kind of situation and the guy opens your guard, I'm always keeping a grip with my upper body. You never just lay your hands back or put your hands behind your head. You'll see a lot of guys get lazy and do that. If a guy gets a hold of one of your legs and drops into a leg lock, you're going to be in a leg lock battle. So it's always a good idea to keep a hold of him. Grab onto his neck with a collar tie. Grab his other arm, one of his arms with wrist control or an elbow. That way, if he drops back, you're protecting yourself. You can follow him up. If you are on top and the guys are swinging their legs, usually it's from what's called an inside position. For example, like a butterfly guard, and they will lift you up and then shoot their leg from the inside between your legs and wrap around your leg, and you'll get tied up in that way. Or it also could be from inverting, like what guys do with knee bars from the guard. they will underhook your leg, and then they will invert and spin up on their shoulders and tie up your legs with their legs. So my coach used to say this, saying, anytime a leg is between the legs, you have one leg between two legs, there's a leg lock. So anytime you have one leg between two legs, there's a leg lock. So when you think about that, any type of half guard, there's leg lock capabilities. If you're in full guard, usually what has to happen is a leg has to make a circle around a leg, or again, you have to invert and then dip a knee in between the legs. Once you have a leg in between the legs, there's a leg lock. You need to be aware of these situations. You need to control your opponent so he doesn't have this ability. If I'm on top and he's constantly inverting and looking for my legs, you can sprawl your legs back. You can lower your level, drop your hips down hard. Don't give him access to utilize his leverage to push you with his legs to get you off of him, so now he can freely attack your legs. Other things you can do is once you get in the leg locks, like your ankle lock, you can learn how to put on the boot, stick your foot out, and flex your toes like opposite of a ballerina. And that will protect you from most of the straight ankle locks, although it does leave you susceptible to heel hooks and such. As far as knee bars go, again, the most basic stuff. You need to try to free up your leg from being straight. You need to bend your leg, get to a sprawl, get to a crossface, maybe possibly triangle your legs. That way he doesn't extend and hyperextend your knee. I just saw 357 Kill Bill. It says, what membership? There is a membership we are creating on the channel, guys. Some guys are like white belt members. Like we have Ron. Ron's hobbies. He's a white belt member, so he'll have a white belt next to his name. We have blue belt memberships. I'm again, Anton Kalista put all this stuff together. I believe the white belt is like $1.99. I believe the blue belt is like $4.99 or $5, and then purple belt is $10. So what we're going to end up doing, we are going to create a membership where I believe it's going to be at purple belt level. Once you're at purple belt level, you're going to have access to our membership. We're going to be dropping. I'm always going to continue the videos, guys. This was important to me. I said, I don't want to stop putting out content the way I've always done it. So we're always going to keep doing this. You're welcome, Matt. We're always going to keep doing this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically have a couple days a week of filmed technique in my actual class, and we're going to drop this content into the membership only. So anybody who's on our YouTube channel subscribes to the YouTube channel. Even if you're not subscribed, you could always check out the channel, and you can watch the videos. And I'm still going to be pumping out videos, at least 4 or 5 a week. And now we're dropping the TMG clips, which are the short clips of old past videos. We've got well over a library of over 600, probably 50 videos now, guys. So with 650 videos I've done, we've got clips for a long time, guys. And as long as we keep pumping out the content, we're not going to run out of clips. Okay, so Ron actually did pay the $10, and he's got to stay white belt for a short time. Again, I don't understand it, guys. I'm very new at this, and again, there's a lot I got to talk about before I answer any more questions. One thing I want to say is Icy Mike. If you guys don't know Icy Mike, of course I know Icy Mike. Icy Mike of Hard to Hurt gave me a huge compliment by saying that this YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, is the best martial arts YouTube channel on YouTube. So what happened was we got about 4,000, maybe 5,000 new subscribers. Probably about, I think it's safe to say that 4,000 came just from his shout out. We went from 90,000 to somewhere around 96 and a half, I think we're at right now. So the channel has gotten a lot more traction. Anton Kalista has been doing amazing things, helping out with the channel. He's been pumping out the TMG clips for the guys that like the shorter videos. I'm going to try to, obviously there's more revenue coming in. I've now hired a guy who's going to be doing Brian. His name's Brian also, but he spells his name wrong with a Y. So he is going to start filming classes a couple days a week. We've already filmed a couple sessions this week. We have not dropped them for the membership, but they will eventually be in the membership. And they're just more technique, really good stuff. You get to see what I'm teaching the guys throughout the week. It'll look a little reminiscent of Marcelo Garcia's stuff, and I don't mean his techniques. I just mean in the same format. Like, you're gonna see me teach a technique, and then there'll probably be a transition, and then it'll be like when I bring everybody back in, and you'll get to see the second move, and then I'll bring everybody back in, and then you'll get to see the third move. And that's something, if you guys have seen Marcelo Garcia in action, you'll see him do some of that, which is common. I mean, that's what we do as instructors, something we've always done. Grand Royal asks, are you going to do narrated roles still? Yes. I have a narrated roles video that I have not edited, but I filmed it yesterday or the day before. I've got a really good role between Nibar Mike and Eddie Diaz, and it's an awesome role. So I'll be getting that out probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll go out on Friday. So we will still continue to do that, Grand Royal. So I don't want Teach Me Grappling to lose any of its core principles, like what I started with. I want to give everything away. I want to give it away, but it has turned into a small business in a sense. We have the support on Patreon. Thank you guys so much, all the people on Patreon. We have the thank you to Icy Mike for helping, like, just being a catalyst in jump starting this channel. We're going to reach 100K, guys. I mean, I never ever dreamed that it was going to hit 100K, but we're going to hit 100,000 subscribers probably in the next month, and that's a huge milestone. So it's a nice thing, and if the views stay up, if they stay where they are right now, I'm going to add value to the channel. You know, we're going to get, again, I told you, Brian, he's going to start filming more stuff. We're going to have stuff for the membership. We will have that where people can pay to get extra. And then we'll still have the free stuff that's to everybody. And again, if you guys have the heart to give, of course, it's great. It helps me out. You know, I'm never going to be a millionaire. I never plan on being a millionaire. Honestly, I don't even like the idea of it, of corruption, of getting too wealthy in this world. But who wouldn't want to be more comfortable and get paid more for what we do? I do a lot of things for a lot of people. I'm coaching high school wrestling. I'm running a gym, running a YouTube channel. I'm trying to balance everything in my life, and I love what I do. I'm super happy. Right now, we've got 61 people in the room. We had a whole lot more earlier, and there's just so many people that support me, and I just love helping more people. And I want to see, we have Vince Pichel fights in the UFC, and there's so much more, guys, so much more. So Ron says 100K, how about 1 million? So yeah, so if you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe, and make sure you got the bell so you can get every new video. I don't always say that. I do try to get you guys to subscribe, but I got to tell you guys, hit that alarm bell. That way you know when I drop. So Hostile Graveyard says, rumor has it Red Chucks can kill a man just by looking at him. I don't know Red Chucks, but Red Chucks is from Icy Mike's channel, right? I've heard Icy Mike mention Red Chucks. So I haven't met Red Chucks yet, but I know he's commented on a couple videos actually this past week. I've seen him. There's so many comments this week, guys, that I would love to answer, and they just come in like crazy. I know Anton's been trying to. So, Grand Royal from Rump Shaker to YouTube sensation. Not bad. So, yeah, guys. So, hey, coach, no disrespect, but your face is a mess. You have scars like I do. Your face has miles like mine. How did you get them cuts? I'm asking because I like stories. Uh, Guys, I don't know which ones he's talking about, but if he's talking about this one, uh, I've told this before, but I'll try to be really quick with it because it's not that exciting. But um, for those that don't know, back in 2010, about 10 years ago, I went to I was done competing, but I took a couple of my fighters to Thailand, and we went to Thailand to train. And I ended up while we were there for a few weeks, you rent a lot. It's really popular to rent motorbikes. It's a very cheap way to get around. You spend about $5 a day, and you can drive your motorbike. You got to go to the store, just hop on the motorbikes. Let's go. We want to go to the beach. Let's go. We do our training in the morning. We're staying in the jungle in a bungalow at Tiger Muay Thai. Very popular spot for foreigners to go train and learn some Muay Thai. They have a MMA program there. I was teaching the jiu-jitsu class in the mornings while I was there. They took care of me very well at Tiger Muay Thai, so I'd love to always let everybody know that they were awesome. This was 10 years ago. They're still there. They're always doing great things. So I ended up getting in an accident on one of the motorbikes. I don't have a memory of the accident. I woke up on the side of the road, and I basically smashed this whole spot of my face. And for those that don't know, I'm like somewhat numb, like my face is falling asleep. The same feeling you get when your arm falls asleep, that's how my face feels from right here. I go straight down the middle of my nose, down to my lip. It goes along this side, my teeth, and it runs all along here, and it goes up to about right here. The line goes up to the center of my head and straight back down. And so all of this is numb. I can move. I got all my movement back, so I can kind of squint and move my face. So that was good. I can't wink with this eye like I can over here, but I got most of my movement back. And so I ended up getting 5 metal plates in my face with a piece of plastic in here. Broke my orbital really bad. I have a crack in my skull here. I had a basal skull fracture. I had I had spinal fluid leak, a CSF leak coming out of my nose. So I was dripping the brain fluid that your brain is sitting in your skull. It's kind of in a bathtub full of fluid. So that was coming out of my nose. I was bleeding and swallowing blood down into my stomach. I threw up about 4 or 5 times the night of the accident. And I kept throwing up blood because blood was running down my throat into my stomach. So I kept throwing up blood. And anyway, I got surgery. Everything got repaired. I had vertigo for 6 months, and so I was dizzy every day I woke up, and I had to look straight forward. I could not look up. If I look up, I would lose my balance. So I had to stabilize, rebalance, and then I'd be okay for a little while. So I was basically on light duty at the gym for 6 months, and I ripped my toe off. My toe got caught up in the chain and it ripped off, and they sewed it. My toe was out sideways. So if these are my toes, I got messed up fingers too, but one of my toes was like wank, like out sideways like this. And they straightened it, drove a pin through it, sewed the skin back on. And but other than that, I'm fine. So I ended up getting a lot better. That's one reason why I don't do very much striking anymore. Even grappling, guys, if I get hit in the face, headbutted or hit in the face here, it's pretty bad. There's nerve damage. So my face actually might be harder than most people's faces because of the metal plates. Everything's grown back. So it may be stronger. Like this side might be stronger than this side. But the pain when the nerves get hit, sometimes I'll get headbutted on this side of my head and it sends this radiating like pain. And it for seconds, usually only a few. When it's really bad, it'll last for up to 30 seconds. I'll feel like I shattered my face again. But every single time I've ever done that, it goes away. And then I'm fine. And then I'm perfectly fine. So it's just a nerve thing. There's a communication to the brain that tells me you just smashed your face open and you're intense. It feels like somebody's stabbing your face with a knife and it won't go away. So I'm just holding my head and I just hold it. And then usually it goes away within 5 seconds. So it's only really painful for a little bit. So it feels like a broken orbital for 5 seconds and then it goes away and I'm fine. And then I can go right back to training. But other times it lasts longer and it really, really sucks. That's one reason why, again, I don't do striking training much. I don't even grapple much anymore. But when I do, occasionally a headbutt or a knee or an elbow will hit me here. And if I get hit around here, I get a lot of swelling because the plates. This is a plate right here. This is a plate right here. This is a crack right here. If I get the light, you can almost see it. You can almost see that there's something going on here. And there's like a little crack. You can feel it in the upper part of my, but this stuff's hard. So this didn't even need to get repaired. They just left it. And the crack stayed there, but it kind of calcified. Anyway. Yeah. So there's my little sad story, right? But yeah, it sucked, but I'm alive. So I'm still here and I got all my thinking faculties, except when I can't remember shit. So anyway. So what's going on? What else do we have, guys? Anybody's got a good question? I get like, okay, YouTuber 479, how tall are you? That's easy. I'm like 5'6". If I wear shoes and socks, I'm like 5'7" almost. More like 5'6 3/4". So no, I'm only 5'6". So damn, George got a broken neck in 2014. Sorry to hear that, George. How'd you break your neck? Yeah, Bisping got retinal detachment. That's, dude, fighting's dangerous. Riding motorcycles more dangerous if you crash. Oh, Ron, no helmet, flip flops. Yup. Stupid, right? It wasn't the one time I didn't wear a helmet, but I wore a helmet some of the time. But that time I was not wearing it. Not gonna lie. Any thoughts on Pacquiao and Conor? Yeah, I think Pacquiao is gonna beat Conor. I think Conor's gonna make a lot of money. Pacquiao is gonna beat Conor. He's not gonna knock him out in the first round. Conor will do okay for the first couple rounds. You know, it'll be a little bit of a fight unless he gets clipped. Anything's possible. He could get knocked out, but more than likely, I would say Pacquiao get him around maybe round 6. So maybe a little longer. You never know. Maybe Conor's going to get in really good shape, take it serious, or he doesn't and he loses a little quicker. But I would say an average would be like 6 rounds. How do you stuff a Khabib-style takedown? Ron wants to know. Well, one thing, you can't get pushed into the fence. You know, it's really important. If you guys notice, Khabib takes most people down by pushing them into the fence. At some point, he's going to drive you to the fence. So you got to make sure that you understand how to make angles. You know, don't back up and put yourself in a situation where he just needs to blitz you. And that's another thing that Khabib does really good. He's not afraid to engage. He's very powerful with his drive. So he throws strikes pretty well, decent enough to where he makes you worry. You know, when he hit that overhand right on Conor, after that, you had to respect him. Once you've respected him, guess what? You're getting shoved in the fence. So, damn, George fell off a ladder, broke his neck. Sorry about that, George. What's my favorite takedown or chain takedown? I don't know, guys. I mean, I really like the basics, like a double leg, single leg, something like that. I'm pretty basic. I'm a basic man. But at the same time, I like a lot of things. Depends on what day of the week you ask me. I might give you a different answer. But double legs, single legs, real basic stuff I think works the best. Oh, Bintry. What's up, Bintry? Hey, guys, I got a black belt named Bintry Vu. He's in here, and he's asking me what the secret to good barbecue. The first secret to good barbecue is you guys got to come on down. Well, first you got to go to peterson-barbecue.com. I didn't even mention to you guys that. I'm trying to run a barbecue business at the same time. You go to Peterson-barbecue and you order now, and you can get some ribs on Sunday. So I'll be cooking again on Sunday. So I'm also a cook, barbecue chef. So, nah, Bentry, I can't tell you the secrets. You just got to come down and get it. So, damn. Ron broke 2 in the back, 5 in the neck on a parachute accident in the military. 2002. That's rough. So, nice. So, again, guys, there's so many questions. I'm going to try to get to a few more. We don't have any super chats right now, so I'm just going to try to, maybe we'll get some lucky winners here. Anybody who's on Patreon that, is a Patreon supporter that I can help out. Matt, this 130-pound purple belt fucking cartwheeled over my guard last night. How can I avoid getting disrespected like that again? The lightweights, they can cartwheel. I used to love cartwheels quite a bit. A long time ago, one thing that just popped in my head. In 2003, Marcelo Garcia burst onto the scene in Abu Dhabi. He was playing seated guard, and Renzo Gracie hit a cartwheel over his seated guard. And that was a thing that was very popular. Around 2000, it was like the Cartwheel Pass became very, very popular. And so he tried to cartwheel Marcelo Garcia's guard. And what Marcelo did in the seated guard position is actually hit a forward roll. So as the guy cartwheels, Matt, as he's jumping over like a round off, really more like a round off, he tries to end up behind Marcelo. Marcelo actually, from the seated position, ducks his head and does a forward roll. And basically, as he goes forward, he then rotates and turns back into his guard. And so he ended up showing that on his video series as a defense versus the Cartwheel Pass. I still remember those videos that he came out with after Abu Dhabi. And that was one thing he showed. You can try something like that. Most people that try to cartwheel pass, usually the answer is to go back to your back, not go forward, but to go back to your back and then pull your legs up above your head and basically follow him. So as he's cartwheeling, your feet try to stay attached to his body. And then what happens is as he lands, you're able to just pivot and rotate your guard. You got to pay attention. Remember, when a guy doesn't have much contact with you, you don't have contact with him. If he's quick, he's 130 pounds. He can hit a quick cartwheel. You got to be ready. You got to be ready to see him as he moves and move with him. You know, a guy's moving towards my left, I can move with him. It's not easy, I know, but and I'm a person that uses that quite a bit when I would train. I like to do it, even if it doesn't work. It's something to throw at them. So I was not successful in passing Jeff Glover's guard when I tried to cartwheel pass his guard. He had a good guard. He was able to just square up. A lot of cartwheel passes, if you don't have the right closeness, you know, it doesn't quite work, because once you cartwheel, it's too much space. Guard player just, you know, either inverts or rotates and faces you. So we've got the super chat right here with Anthony D. Anthony D, thank you for the super chat. He's asking, we've got the pinch headlock butterfly sweep has been awesome technique for me as a white belt. So has the inverted triangle. They are white belt hacks. They've opened doors for me. Thanks again. Well, that's awesome, Anthony. So if you guys have not seen or watched the pinch headlock butterfly sweep video that I've done, it's one of my favorite types of butterfly sweeps that I think work really well on high-level guys. On low-level guys, the simple butterfly sweep with an over-under or an underhook are outstanding. But once you reach a certain level, the classical butterfly sweep, I'm not saying it doesn't work. Shoot, Marcel Garcia can classically butterfly sweep the shit out of just about anybody. But it tends to, you struggle, you know. The classic butterfly sweep is difficult. When you get a pinch headlock and you know how to grip it and cinch it, watch the video, you guys will be able to hit it on some fairly good guys. It is very powerful, and it's solid. Now, when it comes to inverted triangle, Anthony D also mentioned, I'm not sure exactly which inverted triangle he's speaking about. There are several different types of inverted triangles. I do have videos on a couple different inverted triangles because I've got over 600 videos. It's hard to even remember which video he may be referring to. So, or he's just mentioning that he learned it somewhere else and it's good for him. So either way, the inverted triangle, one common one that happens, a person that's trying to pass the guard, let's say like an over-under, they have an arm between the legs, you stuff the head, leg comes over, locks it up, you get caught. Even great guys like Andre Galvao was choked out by, forgetting his name, but inverted triangle master choked out Andre Galvao, I believe in ADCC. So I feel bad right now because I can't remember his name, but I can see his face clear as day. Anyway. So thank you. That was Anthony D. All right. I already talked a little bit about leg locks earlier. Amen. Obviously, heel hooks are a different story, but yeah, you should tap. If somebody gets you in a heel hook and you don't know what you're doing, if it freaks you out already, you definitely don't want to spaz out and go the wrong way. Long time ago, I had a match with Charlie Valencia, who was like former King of the Cage champion. Back then, he was one of the best 135ers in the world, and I had a match, a grappling match in a tournament with him, and he was a better wrestler than me, and especially at that time. And so I had better jiu-jitsu than he did. And so I started, it was one of my first matches I ever started to pull guard because I wasn't able to take him down. So I started to learn or started to work on pulling guard in that match. And I started pulling into leg locks. I would slide into leg locks. So kind of like Ryan Hall. This was back in like 2001. So long time ago. So we're talking 19 years ago. I get Charlie Valencia in a heel hook. He had gotten out of a couple of them. And I get him in a heel hook and I lock it. And I feel like I've got it, but he's very flexible. You know, he was a little bit heavier than me. You know, I used to weigh 135. He would like cut to the 135 weight class. I ended up locking up a tight heel hook. This was in the open division of the Jean-Jacques Machado Nationals. It was ran by World Grappling Games. And I'm cinching it tight, but he's not tapping. And he can't roll out. And he was unfamiliar. He tried to rip and go the wrong way. And when he went the wrong way, I felt his leg just snap and pop. And when it popped, he screamed out and he lost. And I was kind of happy that I won. But at the same time, I also thought to myself, man, I didn't even tap this guy out. He did it to himself. So if you're worried about leg locks, I mean, tap. If you don't know what you're doing, tap. If you know how to escape a leg lock and you have a heel hook and you have a person that is safe and isn't going to blow your leg, then you can try to safely escape it. But you don't want to start going crazy. So my advice is train with people who are safe if they're doing heel hooks. And then you got to work on heel hook defense. So I know that sounds stupid, actually. I didn't give you anything, right? Work on your defense, bro. But push at his knee, turn your hip, clear the knee line, get your knee out of there, and rotate. I have some of that on a video somewhere. I don't have the name for it, but if you went heel hook, teach me grappling, you would probably get something. I'd love to do another video sometime in the future on that. So yeah, don't start yawning. I gotta get back to my chowder. Still warm. Do we have anybody left? All right. YouTuber 479. I think I've already talked to you, bro. But what's the most painful submission you've tapped out to? Honestly, a Meganator. Megan gets my foot and pulls on my foot so hard that I have to scream and yell. It's one of the worst, most painful submissions I've ever been in. It's one of them. Another one would be a long time ago when I first started training, like 98. I had a guy do a straight up, like, just kind of like a jacked, ripped up, muscular bodybuilding dude, grabbed my ankle in a straight ankle lock and was standing and ripped straight up and pulled man, I shot up off the ground, because he's pulling up. I'm arching my back screaming. That was a horrible moment. I've also been heel hooked before where it was pretty bad. So I don't know if that makes you happy. All right. So Geo 630 says, what's better for you, Patreon or contributing here? Great channel. Old school BJJ guy here. Awesome, Gio. You know, I don't really know, but obviously Patreon is a like kind of like a GoFundMe for artists and people, like, you know, I do the channel. It's like it's a way for people to support me. Obviously Patreon takes a cut as part of the deal. I'm not sure if um, YouTube, when you donate through YouTube, if it's better or worse. I actually don't know because I'm so new at it. So I don't really know. Either way is good, but what I do want to say is that people who are going to get in the membership for like what I believe is the purple belt level and up is what we're going to give the extra content to. So the guys that go there are going to get the extra content. So that's all I can say about that. Patreon technically doesn't get you anything. For the guys that were $25 black belt contributors on Patreon, I tried to get them a t-shirt. I know that there may be some that I still owe t-shirts to. If there is anybody in our Patreon, you can send me a message and let me know. And if I have not given you a t-shirt, I will try to get one out to you. So, Jack Secombe. Hello, Brian. Coach Brian. Irrelevant question, but what was the first martial art you did and how did you get into grappling? Well, to answer that question, it would definitely be wrestling, if you consider wrestling a martial art, which I do. I think it's kind of clear that nowadays, with MMA and wrestling being such a popular thing to do for MMA, it's a martial art. So that was the first martial art. That's how I got into grappling. I started wrestling in 1993, pretty much right when the first UFC came out. When UFC 1 came out, I started wrestling right then, right around then. So I got into it that way. And then my next martial art was a little bit of Taekwondo mixed in with learning some grappling jiu-jitsu. So all right. Oh, I plan to do home exercises. Which one is better, a double end bag or a heavy bag? Honestly, guys, I am more of a fan of the heavy bag than the double end bag. Um, the double end bag's good. It's a great bag. I like it. It's better for learning, you know, quick hands and timing and, you know, because it moves really quick. But honestly, I think it's more useful to have a heavy bag. I think it develops your power in your punches, and you can simulate more situations with the heavy bag. I think it just gives you a better workout. The double end bag's great too, but I would pick the heavy bag. I mean, the hell is a Meganator? Haha. So, yeah. Do I have the Meganator on channel? Yes, I do. Just go to YouTube after this is over and put in Teach Me Grappling Meganator. And you'll get a video on the Meganator. And I even have, like, pretty much when Megan started doing it and her first time ever catching me, I believe we caught on film. So she still to this day is doing it. A lot of our guys can defend it because they're aware, but it's only because they've been tapped out by it so many times. But anytime she goes with somebody new that hasn't seen it, they're going to be tapping to it. So what's my opinion on gym loyalty? Our coach makes us decide between gyms if we visit other gyms in the area. Yeah, guys, that still exists quite a bit in jiu-jitsu especially, and in a lot of the martial arts, the gym loyalty thing. I'm really free and open, and mostly because it's security. I have security in myself. I believe in myself, so I'm not worried that my gym's going to go under. And I think a lot of instructors are self-conscious, and they don't have the confidence in themselves, so therefore they try to. It's kind of like a relationship. If a guy won't let his girl go outside because he's afraid she's going to cheat on him, then he's insecure. You know, I know that martial arts is not the best It's not the best analogy for martial arts, because in the martial arts, it's almost like you're going to let your girl go cheat on you for a little while, go to another gym. But I guess the idea would be, I'm secure enough that I know my students are going to come back. And I also know that if they can go in and get exposed to another instructor locally and learn something, that's a good thing for them, that's going to develop them. And oftentimes you learn from some other instructor, it actually makes it easier to learn, because you've already been listening to your instructor for so long, and he's trying to teach you, he or she's trying to teach you. And, maybe it's kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher. It's like, wah, wah, wah. You're not listening anymore. You get a fresh new perspective from some other instructor, and you might learn something new. But that doesn't mean that you need to leave your instructor either. I mean, unless your instructor is just terrible and you think you're getting a much better situation somewhere else, whether it be price or quality or whatever. But I'm pretty secure with myself, so I know that people can go other places and learn from somewhere else, and they're not going to leave me. And you know what? And if they do, it's only going to be a couple of people, and maybe it's better for them. I've had students leave, go train other places. Maybe it's better for them. Maybe it's going to suit them better. Specifically, I've had quite a few youth, kids, 12-year-olds, that I've made really, really good, like really high level wrestlers and jiu-jitsu kids. And they'll leave and they'll go to another gym. They'll go, oh, we're going to go to private school. We're going to go to St. John Bosco. St. John Bosco is a really good wrestling school down in Bellflower, which is still quite a ways from me. But they recruit my kids. They'll go and snatch up one of the kids, and boom, a couple more will go, and people come and go. I want the best for the kids. So if they're happy somewhere else, more power to them. I can't keep them. I've realized I can't. There's no way. Some people are going to get sold on the grass is greener on the other side. I really like loyalty. I like it when people realize, hey, I was the one that made them good. But if someone doesn't see it and they just see the grass is greener where they're going, they think it's greener. If it is, it is. If it's not, and they think it is, well, I'm not going to call them up and beg them to come back. So if they want to go, they can go. But I never tell people, oh, you can't go somewhere else. To me, that's only going to lead to more people thinking you're dishonest or you're trying to hide something from them. And, you don't want the rest of the world to find out. So I'm not like that. That's how I feel. But I am very appreciative of the quality of loyalty. Having a loyal student is a very important thing to me, because it means that not only will he be there for me, but it means that I need to be there for them. Like if somebody's been with me, I have students been with me 10 plus years, they're still loyal. Man, I take care of that person. They've supported me. I need to support them. It's good all around. So loyalty is very important. If you have a student that shows up every now and then and then bounces around and they gym hop, and in Brazil or in Portuguese they say crianche, you have somebody who does that. No instructors really want to go the extra mile for them. Why would you want to go the extra mile for someone who just leaves all the time? So, there you go. Hopefully that was an answer to your question. All right. Hobby, Ron's hobbies. He loves his gym, but when he travels, he likes to bring his rash guard, shorts, and gi and pay a drop fee. There you go. That's what you do. Ron's come into PG before. It's one of those guys that have made the journey, the pilgrimage. So, all right, guys, it's getting really late. We've been going now over an hour. So I want to thank you guys. We got 60 people in the room. I want to thank Icy Mike. Again, I can't thank that guy enough for helping me out real recent, giving me a nice little jump start for the channel. We were already doing great, but man, he helped it out a little bit more. So, guys, isn't that kind of cool? Best YouTube channel on for martial arts, at least according to Icy Mike. So, anybody from Icy Mike's channel, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We did some street series last week. Hope you guys enjoyed those street series. We're going to do some more. We'll be doing some more in the future. And there's so much more to do. I've got monoplatas coming up. I've got, I know somebody mentioned, I saw it. They want to know defense. We got leg lock defense we got to do. I mean, there's so many things. I'm bringing in more wrestling, MMA wrestling stuff, how to use wrestling in jiu-jitsu a little bit more, mostly for MMA, but could be used in jiu-jitsu. So thank you guys so much. All the good nights. I'm reading them all. Thank you guys so much. Judo. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a judo guy, guys, but I'm somewhat familiar. There's always going to be some techniques that are popular in judo that I'll try to bring in. And then you know what? I've got a judo friend that I would love to bring in and show you some stuff. Also, guys, I've got a knife expert that I'd love to bring in. So I was talking to him the other day about showing you guys some reality-based thoughts on knife. So Muay Thai clinch, all kinds of stuff, guys. So much stuff. All kinds of good stuff. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time with more great stuff. Thank you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you.